For the most wild yet most homely narrative which I am about to pen, I neither expect nor solicit belief. But in need would I expect it, in a case where my very senses reject their own evidence. Yet, mad I am not, and very surely do I not dream, but tomorrow I die, and today I will unburden my soul. From my infancy I was noted for the docility and humanity of my disposition. My tenderness of her was even so conspicuous as to make me jest of my companions. I was especially fond of animals, and was introduced by my parents with a great variety of pets. With this I spent most of my time, and never was so happy as when feeding and caressing them. This peculiarity of character grew with my growth, and in my manhood. I derived from it one of my principal sources of pleasure. To those who have cherished an affection for a faithful and sagacious dog, I need hardly be at the trouble of explaining the nature of this intensity of gratification thus derived. There is something in the unselfish and self-sacrificing love of the brute, which goes directly to the heart of him who has had frequent occasion to detest the paltry friendship and gossip fidelity of her man.
I married early, and I was happy to find in my wife a disposition not uncongenial with my own. Observing my partiality for domestic pets, she lost no opportunity of procuring those of the most agreeable kind. We had bears, goldfish, a fine dog, rabbits, a small monkey, and a cat. This latter was a remarkable, large, and beautiful animal, entirely black, and sagacious to a astonishing degree. In speaking of his intelligence, my wife, who at her was not a little tinctured with superstition, made frequent allusion to the ancient popular notion which regard all black cats are witches in disguise. Not that she was ever serious upon this point, and I mentioned the matter all of for no better reasons that happened just now to remember. Pluro, this was the cat's name, was my favorite pet and playmate. I alone fed him, and he attended me wherever I went about the house. I was even with difficulty that I could prevent him from following me through the streets. Our friendship lasted in this manner for several years, during which my general temperament and character, through the instrumentality of the fine temperance, had, I must to confess it, experiencing a radical alteration for the worse. I grew day by day more moody, more irritable, more regardless of the feeling of others. I suffered myself to use intemperate language to my wife. At length, I even offered his personal violence. My pets, of course, were made to feel the change in my disposition. It not only neglect but I use them. For Pluto, however, I still retain sufficient regard to restrain me from murdering him, as I made no scruple of mating the rabbits, the monkey, or even the dog, when by accident or through affection they come my way. But my desires grow upon me, or desires like alcohol, and the length even Pluto, who was not becoming old, and consequently somewhat babyish. Even Pluto began to experience the effects of my ill temper.
One night, returning home, completely drunk, of its hopes about town, in fights stand in the cat avoids my presence. The furies and demons inside possessed. I did not kill myself. My soul apparent came in my body, and saw it, and that the cat thinking the code wanted of ages. When reason returned the my body in the morning, I experienced sentiments of the horror, remorse, on the crime it committed. I saw.
In the meantime, the castle slowly recovered. The socket of the lawsuit present, it is true, a frightful appearance, but he no longer appeared to suffer any pain. He went about the house as usual, but as might be expected. Fled in the extreme terror of my approach, I had so much of my old hair left, as to be at first gripped by this evident dislike on the part of a creature which had once so loved me. But this feeling so gave place to irritation, and then came, as if to my final and irrevocable overthrow, the spirit of the perseverance. Of this spirit philosophy takes no account. This spirit of perseverance, I say, came to my final overthrow. It was with a phantom longing of the soul to fix itself, to offer violence to its own nature, to do wrong for the wrong's sake only. That urged me to continue and finally to consummate the injury I had inflicted upon the unoffending brute. One morning, in cool blood, I slipped a noose about its neck and hung into the limb of a tree. Hung it with the tears streaming from my eyes, and with the bitterest remorse of my heart. Hung it because I knew that I had loved me, and because I felt it had given me a reason to offense. Hung it because I know that in so doing it was committing a sin, a deadly sin that would do jeopardize my immortal soul and to place it, if such a thing were possible, even beyond the reach of the infinite mercy of the most merciful and most terrible God. Although I thus readily account to my reason, if not altogether to my conscience, for the startling fact just detailed, it did not the less fail to make a deep impression upon my fancy. For months I could not rid myself of the phantoms of the cat, and during this period there came back into my spirit a half sentiment that seemed, but was not remorse. I went so far as to regret the loss of the animal, and to look about me among the bloodhounds which I now habitually frequent, for another pet of the same species and of somewhat similar appearance with which to supply its place. Upon my touching him, he immediately arose, purred loudly, rubbed against my hand, and appeared delighted with my notice. This then was the very creature of which I was in search. It at once offered to purchase of the landlord, but this person made no claim to it, had never seen it before. I continued my caresses, and when I prepared to go home, the animal evidenced a disposition to accompany me. I permitted to do so, occasionally stopped it and petting it as proceeded. When it reached the house, it domesticated itself at once and became immediately a great favorite for my wife. For a purpose such as this, the cellar was well adapted. Its walls were loosely constructed and had lately been plastered throughout with a raw plaster, which the dampness of the atmosphere had prevented from the hardening. Moreover, in one of the walls was a projection, thus by a fallen chimney or fireplace that had been filled up and made to resemble the rest of the cellar. I made no doubt that I could readily displace the bricks at this point inside the corpse and wall the whole up as before, so that no eye could detect anything suspicious. And in this calculation I was not deceived. By means of a crowbar I easily dislodged the bricks, and carefully deposited the body against the inner wall. I propped into a position wide with little rope. I relayed the wall structure is originally stood, having procured mortar, sand, and hair with every possible precaution. On the fourth day of the assassination, a party of the police came very unexpectedly into the house and proceeded again to make rigorous investigation of the premises secure. However, in the inscrutability of my place of concealment, I feel no embarrassment whatever. The officers bade me accompany them in the search. They left no nook of corner unexplored. At length, for the third or fourth time, they descended into the cellar. I quivered not in a muscle. My heart beat calmly as that of the who slumbers in innocence. I walked the cellar from the end. I folded my arms upon my bosom and roamed easily to and fro. The police were thoroughly satisfied and prepared to depart. The glee at my heart was too strong to be restrained. I burned to say if but one word by way of triumph, and to render doubly sure the assurance for my guiltness. "Gentlemen," I said at last, as the party descended the steps, "I delight to have allayed your suspicion. I wish you all health, a little more courtesy by the by. Gentlemen, this is a very well-constructed house. I may say an excellently well-constructed house. These wells are you going, gentlemen? These walls are solidly put together," and here took the mere frenzy of bravado. It rapped heavily with a cane which, in a hand in my hand, upon that very portion of the brickwork, behind which stood the corpse of the wife of my bosom. But my God, shield and deliver me from the fangs of the Arfian. No sooner had the reverberation of my blood sunk into silence than I answered by a voice from within the town. By a cry at first muzzled and broken, lay the sobbing of the child, and then quickly swelling into the long and continuous scream, utterly anomalous and inhuman. A howl, a wailing shriek, half horror and half of triumph, such as might have arisen only of the hell of my own, taught it fully to speak, sounding I staggered to opposite walls. For instance, the party upon the stairs remained motionless, through the extremity of the terror of the awe. In the next, a dozen stout arms were toiling at the wall. It fell bodily. The corpse, already gaily decayed and clothed with gore, stood erected before the eyes of the spectators. Upon its head, with the red extended mouth and solitary eye of fire, sat the hideous bedwose craft and seduced me into murder, and whose informing voice had consigned me to the hangman I had walled the monster up within the tomb.